healthy living with Intermountain Healthcare.
It's summer, your kids are outside, being active, running around. We've got to keep them protected. And I am so grateful to be joined right now by Dr. Russo from TOSH Sport Concussion Clinic. We're talking concussions, what you need to know. So if you have a child who enjoys playing sports, you probably know when they're out on the field, they should be wearing a helmet. And I feel like this has really come into light lately with all of the concussion stories we're hearing.
We are hearing so many, and I like what she said before we came on the air, which was the best way to treat a concussion is to prevent it, is to not get one in the first place, doctor.
So how should we be doing that? How can we prevent this happening?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure that you're playing safely, that you know the rules of the sport that you're involved in or the physical activity you're engaging in, that you're following those rules and that you're taking advantage of every safety precaution that might be available to you, whether that be a helmet in football or just your bicycle helmet. These are the tools that are going to help save your life and make it much easier to recover if you do have an injury because it may reduce the severity of it.
Now, heaven forbid something actually happen. This may sound like a silly question, but what actually is a concussion? I mean, what is happening inside your head when that impact happens?
Well, a concussion is a traumatic brain injury, and we do want to emphasize that. For a lot of years, there's been some debate about that, but a TBI and a concussion are the same thing. A concussion is considered basically a neurochemical injury to the brain, but what it does is it's going to change your functioning level. You're going to have symptoms. We have lots of different resources to identify those symptoms, and the most common ones I think people think about are headache, loss of consciousness, dizziness, fatigue, nausea, balance being off, dizziness, changes in mood, changes in personality, changes in your ability to function the way that you want to.
So why do I feel like when my child falls and hits their head, I look for dilated eyes and to see if they're throwing up? And if they don't, I figure they're fine. They don't have a concussion.
That's really the common belief, is that if you don't have dilated eyes and if you're not vomiting, that you're okay, but that's not necessarily true. You've got to look at kind of those majority of symptoms. There are some people when they have a concussion, they are hugging the trash can and they are not going to let it go because they're so nauseated the whole time. There are other people where their principal symptom is headaches, and some people really notice that their child or themselves, they're just not themselves. They're kind of walking around foggy. They're not thinking straight.
Doctor, what are the repercussions if someone has a concussion and it goes untreated?
Well, the repercussions of an untreated concussion, or one that people don't recover from, are the symptoms persisting and
They're not getting better.
They're just not getting better. And as we don't get better from these symptoms, they start getting labeled as other things. They might be just labeled as just depression or just anxiety. And without understanding that there's a component of this coming from the brain injury itself, it complicates and it interferes with that ability to recover. And it also just changes how a person feels about themselves. Whereas if they're getting the right treatment, they're doing the right things to help themselves get better, life moves forward. And most of the time, with one concussion, we do expect people to make a really great recovery. It's where you have repeat injury that the problems happen.
So if your child has suffered a concussion, or you believe they maybe have, and they aren't recovering from it, TOSH Sport Concussion Clinic is a very valuable resource. Why is that?
Well, because we are a comprehensive service. Unfortunately, we're not all in one place, so we do have to send people kind of all over the valley, but we are experts in dealing with the consequences of concussion, know how to evaluate, know how to treat, and have those resources available.
All right, that information is all right there on your screen. You can call 801-314-2210 to take advantage of these professionals. I think that it's something that is better safe than sorry, where if you don't know, it's better to just consult a professional than try to figure it out on your own. So thank you so much for being here and for sharing this valuable information.
Thank you for having me, and just please make sure you guys wear your helmets.
Wear your helmets.
That's the takeaway today.
Wear
Thank
your
you
helmet.
again, and stick with us. We'll be right back.